No, I wouldn't say anything changed. I think it confirmed some things that, we kind of anticipated heading into our training camp. I think those exhibition games are just a good test for us to get some experience for our young players, get kind of the rust off for some of the more experienced players, and then from a coaching standpoint, just go through the routine of a typical game and iron out any of the kinks that we may have as a group. So I think we got what we needed to get out of those games, and we're looking forward to moving on to the regular season now. Yeah, we didn't. We just played sort of a little bit of next line up kind of mentality to give them some experience. And sometimes I'm not sure if everybody does that, but I know we do it quite a lot. Where early in the year, you don't want to just assume that your power play players are going to be your power play players. So you try to give other people a bit of an opportunity and see if they can make the most of that. But at times, we obviously put some people together that we're curious about just to give them a little bit of opportunity to build some chemistry. I think we're pretty comfortable with what we have here for, to at least right now to have two power play units. And you're right, last year was a big part of our success, and we hope to carry that over to this year. But I think the big thing is we got to find ways to not just rely on our power play success to create the offense. We got to find ways to score more 5-on-5, and in particularly on the road 5-on-5. So hopefully we get a good opportunity against Minnesota coming up to showcase that.
We've got four athletes to sign here. We still have four contracts to get through to get to our 23, and obviously I think there will be some discussions here now, a little bit diving into some of our contracts extensions moving forward as well. So before opening night it's finalizing the 23 and getting those contracts in, and getting on the plane and heading to Minnesota, and then we'll start diving into conversations with athletes on extending their contracts so that we've got a little bit of a platform here for next year and years to come.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with all of our new players, rookies to the league, but then the new additions that we had from other teams in the PWHL. I thought it was very obvious that everybody showed up willing to buy in and play the way that our coaches asked us to play in those exhibition games. So I was really happy about that. Like you said, Zanin and Gentry, I thought both stood out in those games, and I think they were pretty excited to have the opportunity to play with us, and I thought they looked great. Another player that I was really impressed with was Clara Van Wieren. I think she's someone that gives us a bit more depth in the middle, and I'm really excited to see how her season unfolds.
Blayre might be able to answer that question a little bit better, but from what I see, the new players coming in seem like they feel right at home, and seem to be able to show up as themselves. There's a lot of laughing. There's a lot of just, to your point, very good mood and good vibes around our team. I think it's a group of individuals that all have come with a background of leadership in some ways, and where they've played previously, and I think they come in with a team first mindset so far. Anyhow, that's what we've seen, and there's just a really good vibe around the group. I think talking with our captains, they seem to really like the locker room and the locker room feel, and with some of the talks that we've had with our athletes that we had meetings with yesterday, they're just so appreciative of having the type of leadership they have in the locker room, and I think they're in awe with the type of people we have in that locker room. So I think it's a great locker room, some great vibes, and maybe Blayre can add to it because you're in.
Similar to what Gina said, I think everybody who showed up to camp was really eager to learn and to be a part of this team. So I think it made things pretty easy from the start, just to kind of get people out of their shells. It seems like we've got a really comfortable group, and I think there was a lot of overlap with the new additions to our team in terms of people that they knew on our roster, or maybe they were familiar with the coach. Even the rookies, a few of them have played together at U18 World Championships and together in university. So there's a lot of overlap with how people know one another, and I think that really helped us gel early here in camp. I think it's been good. We had a good chance to see her quite a bit throughout the off season with our Hockey Canada camps that we did. So she's looking good. She looks like she trained for hockey, which is great because I think the last few seasons she's been rehabbing. So for her to be able to focus on hockey this off season, I think it's huge not only for her health but for our team as well. I think obviously we've all seen Spooner and what she can do and how she can impact the game, and I think the offensive impact that she'll add to our team is something that we really need, and something that we're really looking forward to her being healthy and in good shape to play hockey. So yeah, she looks great, and I'm excited to see what her season looks like.
Yeah, I mean, with discussions with our coaching staff, discussions with Gina and some players as well, and just trying to find good chemistry. We thought, this summer Emma Maltese had an outstanding summer of training. She's also had great camps with the national team as well. So I think she's coming into a great situation. We've kind of bounced around the idea of who should play on that line. And obviously Blayre, someone that comes to mind on a consistent basis. We decided to move Emma more from the left side into the middle, just to get us some more depth down the middle, as we lost a couple players that played in the middle during the expansion. So it just, giving her an opportunity, Emma there in the middle, right from the start, see how she does with it. I think the big thing for the success of that line is, obviously to see a little bit where Spooner is. I agree with Blayre. I think she's, to be able to train this summer for hockey instead of rehab, has set her up for success this year. I think Daryl Watts was one of our more consistent offensive players last year, so we expect that to continue. And I think for Emma is just not to change her style of play or what makes her such a special player, just because of that line that she's on. If she brings what Emma can bring like no other, that's what that line needs right now. And I think also a bit of awareness to understand that they're going to be playing against some top lines around the league, and what each of those players need to do to be successful. So really optimistic on what it potentially can bring, and we'll give it some time here to start the season. Instead of changing things up, we'll probably give it some time to see if they can build some chemistry that we can benefit from as an organization. No, right now, Renata Fast won't practice today, but it looks like she'll be fine for our first regular season game. Other than that, nothing to report.
I think it'll be a strength of ours. I think having two goalies that we can rely upon on any given night is something that we've seen other teams have success with. If you look at Minnesota's playoff runs the last two seasons, I think they got to the Walter Cup finals because of their goalie tandem, and then they were able to win the championship, I think, again, partially because of their goalie tandem. So for us to have two reliable goalies who are both ready to play and really competitive, I think it's going to be a strength of ours.
Yeah, we discuss it a lot. I think right now where we're at is it'll be kind of a combination of both, where, sometimes we love the luxury of being able to play Ella with Renata. Obviously, they can impact the game defensively, offensively, and physically. You're right. They both, naturally, Renata's been playing the top of a power play where Ella's been kind of more on that her offside flank. So they kind of pair well together for a power play unit. But I also see there's some value in both of them playing with some other players as well. So I don't think we'll be so regimented as just having three D pair units coming over the boards. I think we'll mix and match a little bit. And I think it's not lost on us as well that Renata Fast had an outstanding year individually last year. And part of that is due to her play with Savannah Harmon. So it's important not to, just automatically make changes. We have the luxury of having a really good decor, And I think all of them will probably get an opportunity to play with Renata at times, and all of them will get opportunities to play with Ella. So it's just a good situation to be in. Adding that one player to the ability and the type of person that Ella is, it just drastically changes the back end. And I think if we're smart, we're probably building a lot from the back end. So I would expect some more offense out of our back end. I know Renata took some steps forward last year, and I would expect Ella to do the same.
I think it's her skating. I think it's something that people don't realize how fast she is. She's got a set of the most powerful legs in our game, and I think she doesn't get recognized often for how quickly she can move and how powerful she is when she gets up and down the ice. But yeah, I would say her skating is a really strong asset of hers that often can get overlooked.
Yeah, we had a lot of time, not a lot of time, but we had 4 practices ahead of those weekends, and we definitely maximized our time with our goalie coaches. Both of them came out and spent some time with our goalies to analyze kind of what we had, and felt that Jesse had a little bit of a head start on Sarah. Sarah was great and really appreciated her coming out and committing to our training camp. And she's a great young goalie. Goaltending is tough to break in this league. There's just not as many opportunities and spots with 8 teams. But I think Sarah's going to be a goalie in this league eventually. And we wish her nothing but the best moving forward. It was important for us, I think, talking with our coaches to set both Elaine and Kirky up for success to start the season. So having them both take a game gives them a little bit of a runway here heading into the season, and that was important for us as a group. So we knew that was the strategy, so we definitely maximized our 4 practices to make the decision for our third spot.
I feel like we're really prepared. I would say that our training camp was short with the international players joining a couple days late, but I think a lot of people who came to our camp showed up to Toronto a few weeks early, so they had a lot of time to get acclimated and to get on the ice with some players who had been skating here in Toronto, which I think is an advantage. I think our training camp, although it seemed short, it was really productive. So I think we're heading in the right direction to start the season, and I'm really excited for our first game. I think our decor helped with that. I think we've got a really strong decor. I think they're all capable of producing and being really effective offensively from the blue line. But I think we've got a group of forwards who know how difficult it is to score and who will be willing to do the right things to make sure that we're producing offense. So I'm excited to see what our offensive game looks like this season. I think for some it might come naturally, for others it might be more work, but I know we'll get there eventually and it should be really fun.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I think you have to take it year by year, and depending on the situation that we were in, I think my approach will be to constantly have conversations with other GMs and our coaches. And is there a need to make some movement? Is there a movement that sets us up for more success this season? And if not, then we're also okay not having player movement. So I think it all depends, what the season brings for us. And I think it's constantly having dialogue with the GMs in other markets to see if there's anything that we can upgrade from our team now. And I think with expansion, it obviously maybe makes GMs a little bit more conservative, not knowing what's coming. I think we have to look at what we have now and make sure that we're setting up our team for success this year, and deal with whatever comes our way with expansion in the future.
Yeah, honestly, I think it changes every year based on the personnel that you have to work with. And I think Blayre made some great comments about, the offensive production that our decor, will potentially generate. But the one thing that's important when you do have offensive D, it doesn't mean they're going to be the ones finishing a lot of goals, or they're going to be the ones that are completely creating all the offense. It's, when you have players D like that we have, like our breakouts should become a little bit more efficient. They should be setting up our forwards to get pucks in the neutral zone, to set them up for better entries, and then probably a little bit more activation in the offensive zone from our decor. So although it's, the offense, I think, will be more by committee, I think the decor will just take a bit of a lead on that. So that's a little bit of a different philosophy than what we've had in the past. I think our D were part of that, but it was more like a select few were more part of that offensive part of our team. So, even now, like as a coach, I think you have a general idea and a foundation and a base of how you want to operate the team, but you got to let some things unfold and you got to be willing to make some adjustments as you see fit. I think we'll get to that point. And to be honest, like I know when you lose players that have produced offensively, it can appear scary, but a lot of players can be set up to produce offensively and as well. So as some people leave, their point production leaves, but also the opportunity that was provided to them is opened as well. So there's other players that have worked hard and maybe a different opportunity on this team that now will step into an opportunity that will allow them to potentially produce more. Whether they do or not is yet to be determined. But I think, when you look at Spooner's production from year one, we didn't have the luxury of Spooner's production from year one, but Miller stepped into a pretty good opportunity and had a key spot on a power play. And I expect others will step up and make the most of the opportunity that has been created by the absence of other players.
Yeah, I think she took a step last year with her game. I thought she did a great job switching from center to wing. I thought she scored some big goals for us and was able to produce in key moments. I think she played really well in the playoffs, and she's another player who I think had a great offseason. So yeah, I think she should be able to have another great year.
I'm excited to see what these two teams bring. Obviously, they have a lot of talent. So there's a bit of an unknown. Obviously, we watch their exhibition games. Yeah, we're excited. We don't play them for a little while, so we have a few other teams to focus and narrow our focus on right now. But there's a lot of talent on those teams, and I've been part of organizations like that where sometimes that works in their favor and sometimes it doesn't work in their favor. But I anticipate both of those teams to be very difficult opponents. And I like the way the schedule unfolds right now, where we get a few games under our belt before we play them. But I expect them to be very strong.
Well, I think for me, for someone who is trying to earn a spot on the Olympic roster, I think that's in the back of your mind every time you step on the ice for a practice or a game. And I think prior to the off season starting, it was very clear how demanding this season would be. So from the start of the off season, the plan was to prepare for a season where I want to win an Olympic gold medal and win a Walter Cup. And I think everyone who's a part of the group that is trying to make both of those things happen has the same understanding that it's going to be really demanding. And this season, more than any other season we've played, it's going to be extremely important to stay on top of everything in terms of recovery, trying to stay as healthy as we can, and also managing the time off that we have, managing rest. And I think the girls who experienced the international breaks last year when they stayed in market, I think they all understand the challenge of what those breaks are for them to be here while some of their teammates are away playing international games. So I think the year will be challenging for them as well, where their breaks might seem a little bit longer. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a demanding year, but one that I know I've prepared for, and I think a lot of other people are in the same boat as me.
We've had some discussions, but we haven't finalized anything, and we also haven't spoken with the goalies, so I wouldn't want them to hear it this way. So after practice today, I'll probably have a conversation first with the staff and then obviously with the goaltenders and probably let them know today.
It's actually been quite easy this season so far, I think, in comparison to the last two. It's felt a lot more natural to incorporate new faces into our locker room. And I think it goes back to what I said earlier, where there's a lot of crossover and a lot of connection between people who are joining our team this year. Um, but I think what's made it easy is how great they all are. They're all really outgoing, they're all really eager to learn, really happy to be a part of our organization here in Toronto. So I think those things have made it quite easy for us so far. I think it's going to be awesome. I know this past summer when I was running a couple hockey camps, that the girls were showing up with PWHL jerseys and t-shirts. So um, I know the hype is real out there, and the girls will be super excited to be able to watch the PWHL live in Halifax. I'm excited for my teammates who aren't from the Maritimes to experience what it's like to play in front of that crowd. But yeah, I think the atmosphere will be amazing, and I know there's so much support of the PWHL out in Halifax and across Nova Scotia.
For me, it's the same. I think probably the biggest thing for me, obviously, is just being around a lot of people I either grew up with or friends and family. But I know when I had the opportunity to coach there with the national team, probably the most special part, and not to be cheesy, but is just seeing like getting to see Blayre playing in front of her home province, seeing Ally Monroe play in front of her home province. It's that's what kind of makes it special. There'll be an extra buzz there around that arena, and just excited that we're part of it.